Hello and welcome to our channel. This is the show where we like to give you our rating first and then talk about the things we did and did not like about the movie we just saw. Today's movie is It Chapter 2. So, real quick, right before we get started, It Chapter 1 is a see it from me. I absolutely love that movie, one of my favorite horror movies. It would be a see it from you as well, Sam?
Yes.
Okay, so that is what we thought of the first one. I think it's a classic horror film. So, It Chapter 2, is it a wait for it, see it, or a pass it? What did you guys think? Because we're letting you know in 3, 2, 1, wait for it. I'm actually surprised you gave it a see it. Wow. But I liked the film. I will say because the first film is on such a high level for me that this film is a step down. I cannot rate it on the same level that I rate the first film.
Well, no. Okay, fine. I still think it's a see it, though. I still really enjoyed it.
So, It Chapter 2. Let's just get into the things that we liked. So, number one, just right off the bat, the adult cast in this movie is fantastic. I thought everything about the casting was spot on. Not only did the actors look like the child actors, they also embodied the characters that the child actors created in the first film. Mm-hmm. Bill Hader, James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, and the other three are fantastic. Even the adult versions, the older versions of the people that are in this film that were in the previous film are also really good. So what are some things that you liked about this film?
I think that one of the things that I liked most about this film is I didn't realize how much the kids were going to be in it. So, like, the kid who has, like, the fanny pack, Eddie, his adult character was my favorite of the adult character because I think out of all of them, they all did a really good job of portraying, like you were saying, the adult character from the child actor. But he was my absolute favorite. Like, he really did a really good job of embodying Eddie.
Yeah, they do a really cool, even on a technical side, of intertwining the kid scenes with the adult scenes. Mm-hmm. So it'll be like one single camera take, and the camera will be like, you'll be in the scene with the adults, and then it'll pan to the left, and then as we pan to the left, we are like back with the adults.
Yeah.
A lot of cool camera tricks that they use to intertwine those two stories. My favorite was absolutely Bill Hader. Bill Hader just absolutely stole the movie for me as Richie.
He was funny.
All of his one-liners and dialogue just had me on the floor laughing from the beginning to the end. Yeah, he also had quite a few heartfelt moments that I really liked.
Yeah.
Also, can't forget Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Mm-hmm. Pennywise is such a good character. I can't imagine them having cast anyone else besides Bill Skarsgård to really bring this the demonic clown to life.
Yeah.
He was really good. The scenes that he has with some of the kids in the movie are fantastic and equally as creepy as what we got in the first film.
Pennywise's character is just one of a kind. I mean, He really brought that character to life. And I think that out of all the horror films that I see, because I'm such a horror fanatic, he's almost one of my favorite villains in like the horror genre.
Yeah. No, he definitely brought it up to an iconic level. Mm-hmm. One of the other things I really liked about the film is that I feel like they stuck the landing on the ending. Mm-hmm. There's a running joke in the film about the author of the movie, who is Bill, which is the James McAvoy character, that his endings suck. I believe it's sort of commentary on Stephen King, where the ending of his books aren't always looked on very fondly. And so that's like a running gag of the film. And I felt like they changed the ending from the book to the live action version, and I felt like the translation worked. Yeah. I really liked what they did. Some other people might not like the changes that they made, specifically revolving around like the ritual of Chud. That's different, but I really, really liked it. I haven't read the book, but I have read up on the book, so I am familiar with the things that they do. So this film just left me feeling very, very satisfied when I left.
I feel like all of everything that you were saying is a see it for you. I feel like you may have... A wait for it wasn't really what you actually meant. You're very fond of the film for a wait for it.
I am. But now, let's move on to the things that we didn't like. So.
Okay, well, there were a few areas that I didn't really care for, the same as you. I think one of the biggest things is that they touch up a lot on the first film, like almost so much where if this was a standalone film without the first film and we had never gotten that first film, I think people would have been okay with how this film had turned out. Like, if this was the only film we had gotten, regardless of the fact that the first It is one of my favorite horror films, I think a standalone film, because they use so much from the first movie that you almost, if that wasn't there, you wouldn't have missed it.
So
that was my biggest takeaway of the film. And there's some like small critique things that I didn't really care for, but I feel like you have more to say.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. All right. First off, there are subplots in this film that do not need to be in this film, and they add absolutely nothing to the movie. First thing right off the bat, Henry Bowers does not need to be here. You could easily take that whole subplot out of the film. Does not change a single thing about the movie. So that right there, that's probably a good 15 minutes of screen time that you just gone. And now we're from 2 hours, 50 minutes to probably a 2 hour, 35-minute movie. And then after that, you could take that 2 hours and 35 minutes. You could probably take another 15 to 20 minutes out of that. Specifically with some of the stuff that you were talking about could just come out, gone. And now we're down to like 2 hours and 10 minutes. And then even when we get down to 2 hours and 10 minutes, I feel like there's probably even more stuff that you could take out. Which then you could probably get this down to a really, really tight 2 hour movie instead of a 2 hour and 50-minute movie.
And it would have been just as enjoyable.
Yeah, and I feel like you would have had the same film. Mm-hmm. So those are my two major issues with the film. Also, the last 40 minutes, like the final battle with Pennywise, was also incredibly long.
I thought that was great.
It was great, but it was, for me, I think it could have been half the length as what it was.
I just agree on that one.
And so for those reasons, that's why to me... Oh, also the third thing that kind of bothered me is that they do some technical stuff with the kids. Mm-hmm. And you can see it...
Weird.
Yeah, like Finn Wolfhard looks like who plays the young Richie. It looks like they did like some computer processing on his face.
That made him look even younger. I wonder if he grew up a little bit.
And then specifically with Eddie, they changed Eddie's voice. So it sounds like he might have went through puberty. Because in this film, he actually sounds younger in this film than he sounded in the previous film. It actually sounded like...
His voice was really high, like in a really strange way.
It was super weird. Like, it sounded like it was a completely different actor. It's like they brought someone else in to redub his voice. And it really threw me for a loop. Because every time he spoke, I was like, that's not the kid from the first movie.
There's just like one scene, like the very first scene where they're all together and it's like post Pennywise and they're in something. That's when he really sounds like all of them look weird. They sound weird. And it looks almost like it's supposed to be like a dreamy flashback. Less than a flashback, more of like a dream.
Yeah, specifically the scene
like
in the... they have like an underground cabin type of thing that they're in.
I wasn't trying to say that.
And it's like this little underground area, this like fort that they have. And this particularly that scene where it really stands out to me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it looks like they're glowing. Like, looks like there's some kind of light around them.
Yeah. And it's
bizarre.
It was super strange. I almost would have rather if they just left the kid actors alone. It's like, who cares if they look and sound a little bit older?
Yeah, but like in the real world, if that had actually happened and that was like post Pennywise, like, don't you think that would have been accurate?
Yeah, I would have been perfectly fine with it. I didn't need the post-processing stuff that they did. Probably my other biggest issue with the film, or at least what left me feeling kind of cold, is that in the first movie, Derry itself feels like a character. So the kids feel like they're in danger not just from Pennywise, but from all the adults that inhabit the town of Derry.
Yeah, but they are the adults, so it makes it different.
So like Beverly's dad, the store clerk, all the kids' parents, the one woman at the library who actually ended up was Pennywise in the first film. Derry felt alive in the first film. In this one, if you had told me that Derry had been abandoned and no one lived there anymore, I probably would believe you. Mm-hmm. And Derry just feels empty in this film. The character's been removed from it, and if it wasn't for the few carnival scenes that we got in Derry where all the people were at, I wouldn't think anyone lived there anymore. I feel like only two of the characters actually interact with anyone at Derry, and that's Eddie when he goes back to that store as an adult, and then there's Bill when he goes to the carnival. And those are the only real two scenes that I remember actually having our main cast interact with other people that lived at Derry. And like everyone else goes to abandoned buildings and stuff. And nothing felt inhabited.
And again, when they go to these abandoned buildings, it's just a reminder of what had happened in the first film.
Yeah.
It wasn't a different experience. Like Eddie, who goes into the base, Eddie's experiences are very similar to what had happened in the first film.
Yeah, it's just replaying things that we had seen before.
I guess it's a good point. And then it's a 2 hour, and on top of that, it's a 2 hours and 30-minute movie.
So those are the main components that bring It Chapter 2 below It Chapter 1 for me.
I will say, like, we did not watch it before it came out, and even though I really wanted to, we never had an opportunity to. So I think, like, for me, I still enjoyed the entire film from the beginning to the end. I was never bored. I never wanted to leave. I wasn't getting, like, tired or, like, over it. Mm-hmm. Overall, the movie was still very captivating from the beginning to the end. But, like, the more you think about it, the more you kind of pick and you're like nitpicking every part of the movie, and then you start to see all the flaws. And
yeah, I mean, these are just things that stood out to me as I was watching the movie.
I mean, you think differently than I do.
Yeah. So it was like the same thing with the dairy stuff. It was like, oh, this feels super empty. You know, it's, and to put it into like video game terms, like It Chapter 1 feels like it's in this RPG that's inhabited by all these interesting NPCs, these characters you can talk to. And then It Chapter 2 is like, you've just been dropped in a barren wasteland almost. And like, it's just you and the main character. So that's it for me. I mean, those are the things that I liked. Adult cast is fantastic. All the acting, everything, special effects, cinematography, I thought were fantastic. Ending was really good. I just thought it was too long, too many scenes that weren't needed, and that I wish Derry had remained more of a character in this one like it was in the first film.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's it for me.
That's it for you? That is it for me and Sam. Thank you for watching this episode of the Movie Therapy channel. So next week is Hustlers.
And we also have Astral Chain coming up.
Yeah, we're doing a video game launch as well. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a link for that channel in the description. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next time, guys.